Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, my connection interrupted. Okay,
Okay, no
you can
problem.
see.
Okay. So, so any questions like from the earlier session? Do you have?
No questions.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So, let's first discuss about these things now. We need to cover these things now. Okay. So today we will be discussing this one, how things going to run and how things will be going to function. And post that we'll proceed with the variables module 2 then. Okay, so you know that we need to add the developer ribbon, otherwise we can press alt F11, that will work. Okay, and before working on anything like in any macro we need to use a module actually. Okay, because that module will consist our code actually, whatever the code that you are going to write, that will be going to available here, right? So what happens is actually suppose let me tell you for this one actually, this is your VBA project actually, this is your window and this is your properties window, right? So suppose this is my module and here are the properties of that one, right? Like suppose this is a name, right? Suppose this is test, right? So this will be going to be test actually. Okay. So this is the properties of that module. You can just change it, right? So this is the property window. Suppose if you're moving to any other workbook or any other sheet, the property you will be getting it. Okay. So these
In
are the,
property, what are the things shown in property?
so in this one you will be getting like multiple properties. Let me show you few of the things that we can do code, or otherwise we can do here as well. So like auto save on or off, we can do it true or false, it will getting auto saved like that, right? And we have compatibility false, conflict, so there are multiple properties actually, so that you can refer it. We can also place the password as well if required. And regarding one thing you also know that, right? Suppose earlier you seen on the macro as well, suppose if any of the file you're opening by using the macro, right? So what happens is like you will be getting some pop-up like update links, right? Update links and all those things like that, right? So all those things will be handled from there as well for that sheet itself. Like for this macro only I'm talking about, for this sheet it will work actually, right? So uh, links never and all those things that we'll be going to see when we'll create the object, how we can set the update links to false, so that suppose if you're running the running your macro, right? So pop-up will not going to occur, right? So like that we'll be going to handle like, so all those properties we can use by using the VBA macro code as well, right? So there are the different properties actually that you can check it actually. Okay. So for the time being, you just need to understand this is a property page. So suppose if we want to directly change the property, we can go ahead and change it. Otherwise, by using the macro also we can do it. Okay. So this is the one. And suppose if you are moving to another one as well, suppose if this is sheet one, right? So for sheet one, these are the actual properties that you can see actually, right? So here you can see that this is sheet one, right? If I want to rename it as Sachin, so this will become Sachin actually. You can see that. Okay.
Okay.
So, so actually, usually we do not interact with these properties until unless we have some specific thing that we need to use it actually, right? But why we usually do by using the macros. All those properties we can access and we can do with using the macros actually, right? And here you can see that suppose these are the multiple sheets actually. Here you can see that this is Excel sheet visible, Excel sheet hidden, Excel sheet very hidden. So like that we have also available, like suppose if you want to hide the sheet, so suppose from this VB project, if you will be hiding any sheet, that will not be going to visible. Even on right click and unhide, you cannot do it actually. So all those properties will be going to see how you can do it by using the VB macro codes actually. Okay. So uh, suppose while working on any of the VBA project, so first of all we need to add module actually, right? So module is very much important. Module is in block of code where we are going to actually a module is a part where we can write our code actually, right? Multiple number of codes we can write it in a procedure or in a form of functions actually. Okay, so by like that way we can add a module actually. Module is very very important. Suppose if you're working, first of all you need to add a module, and then you need to name it as per the no and as per your need actually, right? Suppose so that you can identify, right? By like all those related to this project, it is available in this module, so that I can easily go and I can access it. Okay, so that is the thing. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, Sachin. Sorry for delay.
It's okay.
Okay, so here you can see that like we need to add the module. So like that, this is the first task that we need to actually do it, right? And here let me give you some like windows that we usually use that should be available. So in view, this is immediate window. This is immediate window, right? So here you can see that this is a immediate window. So what is the use of immediate window? The use of that window is to just to query something, or if you want to do any operation you can just do it actually, right? Suppose if you want to yesterday I shown you, right? Suppose if you want to query something or get something, so like that way you can do it like sheet1 dot name. You can get it. This is my sheet name actually, right? So let me tell you, I am using this as a properties. You can see that now here this is Sachin, right? So I am
Mhm.
using sheet object name, then its properties, and then I can get it Sachin, right? And suppose if I want to set it as RPA, let me press enter, it becomes RPA. You can see that now this one also got changed, right?
Mhm.
So like that way we can use the immediate window, but where we mainly use it, we mainly use when we query something like that actually, right? Suppose if you are working on a complex project and we need to debug it line by line, so this is the best way from where we can check the values and all those things. Apart from it, we have another windows as well. Let me show you. These are these are local window. You can see that, right? So all those expression values and what is the type of that variable, that will be going to shown here. I will show you. And this is a watch window, and watch window is very much important. So what happens is, suppose if you are working on Power Automate or UI path, right? So what happens is, suppose you usually put a watch on that variable, like how the values are getting changed of that variable, right? So like that way we have been watches. Suppose okay, one more thing you seen is in Power Automate on the right hand side we have a window that consists all the variables. Suppose if the bot will run step by step, that values of that variable will be going to be reflected in that variable, right? In the Power Automate, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yes.
like that way, so like that way it this is the same thing, but the main thing is like this immediate window, local window, and watches window. These are the important part of your any macro. If suppose if you're writing or debugging, so this will help you a lot actually. Okay, so I will show you the some demo like how it looks like and how you can see it actually, all those things. Okay, so uh, and these are the important things. Like these are object browser. Like suppose if you want to suppose access with some any object or use the methods. So from here you can do it. So these, as of now, these three things that is important. Okay, we just need to, these are the important things. And these are project explorer that you can see here. This is, and these are properties window. Properties window you can see here. Okay, so that is like that. And we have a toolbar. Toolbar, it means same as a Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. You know that na earlier. Right now we have 365 for like updated versions we have. But earlier, what happens is we were having some like these things available in the Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. We add it and we place it here like that, and we usually interact it like in MS Office 2013 or something earlier versions, right? So like that it was, so like that it was available actually. So in VBA you will be going to find it actually. Okay. So all those things, like suppose these are the icons. Like suppose if you want to go to the Excel, if you want to insert a module, so same thing here. From also you can do it from here, you can also do it, right? This save and all those things we'll be going to see. Like suppose we'll proceed further and we'll debug it and do it, or so we'll be going to access these things actually. Okay. Suppose, let me give one example. Wait a minute. Sorry, wait a minute. This is local and toolbar debug. Yeah. So this is a toolbar which is mainly related to the debugging. Suppose if you are debugging your code and all those things you are doing, so from here you can also do it. Otherwise, you can see these are the windows. From here also you can just have a look actually. Okay. So we'll be going to interact with all those things as soon as we proceed further with our actually modules. ठीक? So let me give you, like suppose when you are creating any module, right? So first of all, two things you can actually write in your module, like in is your function, second one is your procedure, right? So sometimes the question comes, what is the difference between is your procedure and a function, right? The procedure is nothing but a block of code, right? From where you can write your code and you can just execute the macro, right? Procedure doesn't return anything. What does that mean? Like you just need to call that macro and it will work, but it will not return anything, right? Suppose if something values got changed or something like that, you will not be, it will not be get returned actually, right? So you can write it on a Excel or something like that, you can use it, there is no issue, but it will not be going to return actually, right? But in terms of function, you need to pass the parameters and it will return you some value, right? So suppose if I'm giving you as an example, right? I have written Shashi Vishwakarma, right? So Microsoft has already inbuilt function, you can see that, right? So here what we need to do is we can pass this one L1 A1 and then I will press enter. So what will be going to happen is it is returning, what it's returning, it is returning the length of that particular my A1 cell. Okay, so this is the function. And same thing, suppose if you want to create your own function, you can also do it. Like in macro, if you want to create some user defined function from here, you can also just you will be able to see, like suppose if you want to do sum of two values, right? So in that case, what will be going to happen once you will create the function and save it, then when you will type it, the function that you have created in your macro, that will be going to reflect here, right? And you can pass the values, and when you will press enter, the function will call and it will execute and give you the like value here actually. Okay, so these are the two things actually. The function, the working property is the same. Like you need to write the code and it will work same as both writing syntax and all those things will be the same, but procedure doesn't return any value while functions return the value actually. Okay, so suppose if you want to see procedure that you have created, you will not be going to get here actually, Sachin, right? But suppose if you have created any function, you will be going to get here. So you can pass anything and you can get anything from that function. Like suppose if I created a function that will add two values. So you will be calling here and you will passing the parameter. It will return you here a value like in cell C3. Okay. So like that way it works actually, right? So usually we'll see the function later, but as of now, as per the module structure syllabus, we'll be going to see the module. So in to write any procedure, we need to use a sub keyword, and then we need to write the module name. Sorry, the procedure name. Okay, and here you can see that int sub is will be going to available. What it means that in defining that this procedure will be ended here actually. Okay.
Okay.
So like that way we can do it. And one more thing, we can pass the parameters here as well. Right? Suppose if you are working on Power Automate or UiPath, I have created a macro that will take a source file and destination file and do some calculation, and it will save another file. Okay. So what can be happen is you can call a macro or a macro, and that from that run macro command you can call a module. Right? In this module you can call a procedure. By using this procedure you can just uh, actually provide your parameters like something like that. Suppose if I'm talking about automation anywhere, right? So we have a run macro command. In this one, when we'll type it, we need to define a macro, right? Suppose I'm giving you an example, like suppose I'm giving source file string, okay, destination file as string. This is the parameterized procedure actually. Okay, so uh, this is a macro, and suppose if in Automate or in UiPath or in any automation, any RP tool, we will be having some specific command that is a run macro or something else. In this one we need to write the macro name, right, whatever the procedure that we have actually created it, we need to write that one, and then we need to pass the value. Like suppose if I'm giving this txt, right? And another one we need to pass it, that is this is my source file, this is my, right? Okay, so like that way you can pass it, and what will be going to happen, you will be going to pass from a Power Automate or the UiPath or any other RP tool. It will be going here, and in test this variable will be going to store that value, and it will proceed further, right? So like that way also you can do it. Procedure can be non-parameterized and parameterized as well. That will be going to see further. Okay. So as of now, what you need to do is you need to just understand, like by this way we can actually create a procedure by that way actually. Okay. So let me give one example like how it works, like immediate, local, and expression, how it works actually, right? So suppose, and one more thing, like in uh, while developing the any VBA macro, uh, um, suppose if you want to place any comments, so a single quote is required, right? I can write this is the RP, this is the macro tool, like that, right? So this becomes your actually a comment, right? So that someone is referring to your macro, he will able to understand like what is doing here actually. Okay. So like that way actually. Okay. So let me give one example so that I can show you how the local and watches work actually, right? Suppose I'm declaring a variable. We will come to the variable in detail, but let me give, for example, I can give you, like suppose to define any variable, we need to use a dim number one as integer, dim number two integer, okay? And dim sum as integer, right? So these are the variable that I have declared as of now. Just think about it, because I want to show you local and watches, right? So suppose if I am taking this one and B, I'm taking this one, and I'm doing sum equals to, what I'm doing is sum A plus B, right? And I'm typing here as ms message box, like message box, this will contain some. Okay, so here you can see that. Let me do a debug. So in order to debug your VB macro, you need to press F8. Okay, so here you can see that, right? In expression, you can see that, Sachin. See here clearly. You can see that this is, wait a minute. I need to write it as number one. Sorry for that, because this will be number one, because variable is I have already declared, right? So this should be
Yeah.
used actually, right? Otherwise, if you want, you can use this keyword as well, right? So suppose, so what will be going to happen? suppose if you're running any VBA macro, and you need to declare the variable, right? Otherwise macro will not run. So that is the best practice to actually use this option explicit. So by using this, you will not able to run run the any macro until unless you have a variable defined in your procedure. Okay.
Hard coding, we can't give hard code numbers, right?
You cannot give it. You
No,
can take it
without,
from sheet.
okay. No,
You
without giving this variable, we can't do it without like number one. Directly, I can't give number one is equal to one.
you can suppose some 1 plus 2. You can do it actually. That will also work, right?
Okay.
By that way you can do it, but as an best practices we should use the variables, because hard coding
Mhm.
we don't know, like suppose this is my procedure, right? Suppose if something is, suppose you are passing something in that procedure, right? So variable is required. This will become dynamic for you actually. Okay, so
Yes,
let
yes.
me number one plus number two, sorry for that, this got. So let me run it first, right? So you will see how it is working. So you can see that here in the locals actually, Sachin, right? Number one, right now the default value, this the ID set is value 0. That is integer, right? And this is my number
Mhm.
two. Initial that value is 0, and that is set to integer, right? And sum is also integer. So here you can see that I have already defined this is a integer, right? So in locals you will see that how these things will be going to work actually, right? Like each and everything you will be going to understand. Like suppose I pressed number one, you can see that here comes number one. Okay. And which type of variable it is? It is integer type. Integer type, it means it will be a in numerical value. Okay. And suppose if I'm assigning something other thing in number two, let me press F8. F8, why we use F8 is step by step debugging of a code. We need to use F8 actually, right? Because
Mhm.
suppose because in order to identify any error and all those things, you should be knowing all those debugging things in VBA macro, so that you can clearly actually check what is the issue, right? So here you can see that I got the number one in one, and number two there is two value assigned. You can see that, right? And in sum you will be seeing like what will be the value. I have pressed F8. So here you can see that it is given me 3. That is integer, right?
Mhm.
So if I will press uh, F5, or if you press F8, you will be getting a message box. That is the last one, right? So you will be there, right? And sometimes also what happens is, suppose if there is any specific, suppose, let me give you an example. There are thousand number of codes, right? So what will be going to happen if you will see here, there are multiple variables will be there, right? So how you will be going to identify, like you need to scroll it and search it, yeah, what is the value, right, in below, right? But by using this watch, what you can do is specifically as per your need, what you can do is you can add these variables in your watches. What it means is, like, I want to see the only some value, right? So what I will going to do is I will select this one, and I will right click this one, and I will do a add to watch, right? So here you can see that this is sum, this is sum, that is the expression, like that is the variable that I've defined. This is the procedure, and this is a module, where it is available, and watch type, this is watch expression, right? And I have clicked on okay, right? So what will be going to happen is, you can see here, Sachin, right? This is a
Mhm.
goggles type of icon. You can see this is sum, and its value is your 3, and which type of that variable is, it is integer, right? And
Mhm.
next one it is saying is, this is in sheet 1 dot test. It means it is the procedure is written in sheet 1 with name test, your with name test procedure. Okay. So this
Okay.
one you can, so this watch is very important. Suppose if you have 2 to 300 lines of code, how you will be going to debug that specific variable? So it is best practice to add it into the watch variable. Okay. So it will give you like scenario. Suppose there are multiple loops is running, right? How you will be going to identify what is the value of that variable? So by this way you can
Mhm.
just keep a watch.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So that is
So
the
it's
thing.
the locals and watches are like same, right? But
Ha
here
ha
also
ha.
same values are same.
Right, right. So, but here what happens, local, what does that mean is, it will going to reflect all your module specific thing that will be going to happen. It will be accumulating here, and you will see all those things, right? But if you want to
Okay, okay,
watch a specific variable, so that thing you can do from here.
okay, okay, okay.
Mhm. So by that way you can do it. There
Lengthy
is no
codes,
issue.
there is a length of the many lengthy codes are there, so we can't
Right.
see at a time.
Right, right. So by that way, you can just do it, because suppose if you are in support and there is some VB macro occurred, you will not be going to actually you will see on which line it is code and where it is stuck. You just put that a variable in a watch, and you can just actually see it directly which type it is, what is the value actually occurring. Because sometimes it happens. Sometimes our if the scenario got changes, our logic also needs to be changed. So in that way, you can just debug it and you can create your logic appropriately.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is the best practice. We usually use it, because suppose if you are interacting with more number of lines, that is the best way, just right. So by that way you can do it. So this is a structure, right? So that is the structure by which way you can define a module like a subtest and end sub, right? And suppose we have one or two things as well. Like suppose we have private and public, right? So these are the access specifiers. What does that mean is it defines the till how much extent you can use that module. What my mean is, if this is right now, if you are declaring not declaring, this is public, right? So it will be accessible to uh, you can see that I have declared in sheet 1 RPA. So this will be, let me copy it first. Let me place it into the, that is, it should be here actually. Okay.
Mhm.
So here you can see that if I am this is a public, actually this is a public procedure, right? So by using this public procedure, what will be going to happen, this test will be accessible to any n number of modules that is available in your workbook. Okay, but suppose
Okay.
if you'll make it private, it will not be going to be here or there. Actually it will be accessible within that module only, right? So let me do it private sub, you can see it. I have, let me do it. Okay, and let me close it. Let me go there actually, right? Earlier, I was telling you like I was able to use the modules from one to another, right? Yesterday we seen it, right? Suppose
Yeah.
this module I was able to access here as well, right? So let's do it. Let's see. So here you can see that, right? In module we don't have any access. Wait a minute. Call. By that way we can also try it. Module one dot. So it is not available here actually, right? By using the, if you have provided the keyword as private, this will be accessible within this module only. It will not.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do it here. So here you can see that Sachin, I think you can see the difference. Earlier, if you want to make a comment whole of the module, you just need to go here in view, and you can just select your edit option. Like, wait a minute, this is this type of tool you will be getting it, and what you can do is you can just click on this one. So what it will do, it will do a whole block actually, place in comment actually, right? It will comment the whole your procedure. Anything that you want to make a make the comment in your VBA macro, you just need to select it, and you just need to click on that one. Okay, and suppose if you want to uncomment it, you just need to click on here.
Mhm.
Okay, so suppose if I'm going there actually, right? So see what is happening. Am I able to use module one here? It is not available because uh, you can see that I'm typing module. Module is not populating here. Okay,
Mhm.
why? Because you can see that there is only one private procedure is there, and it will not be going to accessible in that test module, right? So there is. nothing public is available in your module 1, so that why this module is not reflecting here. You can
Okay.
see that, right? But suppose I'm giving you one example. Suppose let me select it, and you can see that if I will click here, this will uncomment it, right? This is a test one, right? So we have a public, this is a public module, this is a private module. So if you'll go to test, you can see that. Let me type it. So, one more thing, Sachin, like I will going to tell you in the classes as well, like shortcut keys, right? Suppose if you are writing something, right? So you will not be getting a suggestion here, right? So you need to press Control J. When you will be pressing Control J, you will be getting the suggestions.
Okay.
ठीक है? So suppose I am writing sheet one, right? If I will press this dot, so all those properties and all those things will be going to reflect here, right? And suppose if it is not visible to you, you just need to press Control J, right? By that way you will be getting the this uh, uh, plug and play type of thing. You will be getting, like, you can select as per the requirement. Like suppose if you want to activate sheet, this is the property, application, this is the, so there are multiple properties. You can see that there are multiple things, methods and things, properties are available. You can just use it. Okay. So where we were actually, you can see that I was about to use module 1. So right now you can see that I am able to access the module 1 now, right? And I will,
Mm.
when I will click dot, it means whatever the procedures that is defined in the module 1, I can access it. But right now there is only a public procedure I have, right? So you can see that this is a test one, that I can use it,
Mm. Okay.
right? So this is the actually procedure how we can define the your public and private things actually, right? Because what happens is, suppose if there is any restriction, suppose if you are doing something that is very confidential and it cannot be shared across the module, you can just make that macro as in private, right? So all those things and data and variables will be working within that procedure itself, right? It will not go to the another module.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Okay. So this is how that works actually, module and all those stuffs. And you already seen, like you already seen this is the variable, and if I placing any
So
watch on
you
a
copied
variable.
that the upper block and the lower block. Both are the same. So we can
Huh.
same way we can add multiple blocks in the same model, right? Block
Here
block of code.
huh, huh.
Yeah.
Yes,
Divided.
yes, just place it. There is no issue. Wait a minute, just place it. Control, wait a minute, Control Z, let me copy it. Okay, so what, how you will going to identify this is within, this is one procedure. You can see that there is lining, right? You can see this line defines that this is a one procedure, this is another procedure within that, right? And this is another one procedure, right? If I will be trying to paste
So
another,
when we will run this code, this module one, when we will run this code, so all will be triggered or only one will trigger? How will be defined? Which one
no,
should be
no,
triggered?
no,
Hmm.
actually it depends. Like suppose it depends upon requirement. All those modules will not be, sorry, all those procedures will not be going to trigger. It depends upon requirement. Suppose if I have created one, if I have created two, right? If I have created three, right? Suppose I'm giving some example, right?
Hmm.
So here you can see the test. So give example. Suppose if you want to invoke another, when you will press one, you can see that test 1 2 3 you have. Okay, it's your wish. Whatever the module, whatever the procedure that you want to call here.
Okay.
Okay. So how this is how works actually, right? So like that way you can access it. Suppose if you want to call,
So we
uh,
can disable also this feature. I mean, these procedures.
yes,
Say
yes.
three procedures. We can let's say we don't want to run third one. We want to run
Okay.
only first and second.
So so
So we
so
can disable this, right?
no, no, you don't need to disable it. There is no need to disable it. What you need to do is, you have already an option, right? Suppose I am giving you an example. You suppose if you want to, uh, this is the module, right? So suppose in this module you are saying you need to run first and second, something like that, right? And if you want to
Mhm.
calling from another module, so just press this one. right, right, that way, right? Whatever is your requirement, you can just select it and it will run like that way, right? Otherwise, if you want to call that module from your if you want to call your procedure from that module only, just do it like that. Just test, run test. You can see that I have created, this is a procedure and I'm calling these above procedures. How I will call it? I call control J test. You can see that I have test 1 2 3. Okay. So by that way you can do it actually, right? Suppose if you want to call another one,
So this
control
test
J.
will run all three modules, all three procedures, right? In single one.
Ha, yes, yes. It depends upon your requirement. Suppose this is a run test, and if I want to run only one module, sorry, one procedure, then you can put a call and then test one. This will this will run one test one procedure. If you want to run the another one, you can do the test to run procedure as well. So like that way, you can just call it actually as per your requirement, right?
Mhm. Okay.
Right. It doesn't mean that you have created one module and you have defined n number of procedures, all will be going to run. No, it doesn't happen. You just need to specify whether you are using any RPA tool. You need to define like which macro or which procedure that you want to run. You need to define it, right? So like that way, you can just define it actually. Okay.
So
This is the
here what is the best way? Means let's say you have created in test module three
Mhm.
procedures. So
Okay.
next we will go in module one and run the exact the code what is required for the project something. How we will
Huh.
run that? Means let's say.
So so suppose let me give you one example. Suppose in one module you are doing different things, like first of all you have a query one procedure, query two procedure, something like that I'm telling you, right? So suppose query one procedure is doing some copy pasting, query two
Mm.
procedure is doing your filtering and all those things, na? So like that way you can, what you can do is you can create a one main module and just you can call that sub procedures actually. That is the best practice. Because why? Because writing all those things in one code, that will become complex and not easier to debug and check things actually, right? Suppose if
Yes,
I
yes,
will
correct.
give I will give you 1,000 number of lines of code, so it will not be going to be easier to identify and fix those things, right? So in order to facilitate these things, we need to break down our problems in in a subtask, and then we need to devise a logic on that one. Okay. So that is a good practice actually, because because I will be writing 1,000 lines of code and you will be, suppose if any one error occurs, you need to debug all those things from start to end, right? But if you will be having a different procedures, you can just hard code the things there and you can just check it by running that specific
Yes.
module. Okay. So by that way you can do it. So that is the best practice. So we'll be also seeing like how we can do error handling and all those things. So so we'll be going to cover actually. Okay. So like that way you can just do it, right? So I hope you got the idea, more idea on this one, how you can call it and how you can do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm. And I will recommend you, suppose if you're writing 5 lines of code, 2 lines of code, 10, 15 and lines of code, okay? So try to always place a comment, because it will help the another person as well just to analyze what is happening there, right? Okay.
Yes, correct.
Because what I seen is some people have different techniques of writing the codes. They usually write the codes in short language, like there is a last row, they will write L row or something like that, they will write in their own language, right? So if suppose until and unless the another developer will come, until and unless he will not debug it, he will not know it actually, right? Or he's an expert just to see and check it, right? So suppose if some person is coming, he do not know the code, at least he can see your comments and he can understand by these are the things is happening, and this is the uh, actually main thing that procedure contains actually. Okay.
Yeah, correct, correct.
So like that way we can do it. There is nothing like complex one. This is very easy actually, you can just do it from yourself. And these are the procedures. And
So functions is like these codes
ha
what
ha
we are creating inside
ha
test.
yes, yes, yes. functions are the same actually, right? Function, there is nothing like what I mean to say is like difference, the all those syntax and all those things the same, right? But the what the main thing is, it will return a value, right? So like that way it will work actually. So that is the thing actually. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the thing. I think, hope you understand more of the things.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, got it.
So we
So in
have.
complex, let's say in complex, any complex project, so how
Mm,
many
mm.
modules we require? In single module we
S-
can create like this? No.
No, no, no. I would not recommend this. If you have a complex project, try to break down your logic into simple steps, right? What will be going to
So
happen? This
like
will help you.
yeah,
Mm,
here you have created, let's say, three, four procedures. Same way we can add multiple procedures and
mm-hmm,
call in module one like that. So module one
mm-hmm.
will be main module,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
So same way we can create a single module or means two modules only or multiple modules will be required.
No, what I'm trying to say is, na, suppose whatever you have the requirement, right? You will break down the steps, and according to that, you can create your procedure. Suppose, right? Suppose if you got the use case, right? So in that one, first of all, you need to open a Excel file and copy the data from some other place, right? So you can create a module, open a workbook, and and paste the data to another sheet. उसके बाद क्या करना है? Like we can create another procedure, like from where the data I have pasted, I need to do some filtering. We can create the another one. So like that way you can do it, right? But the main thing is, it depends upon requirement as well. Suppose if you have 50 60 lines of code or 100 lines of code, you can quickly write in a single module. What I will suggest you in one procedure, right? But if the project is complex, you surely need to be make it is as divide into the sub procedure actually, Sachin, right? So that is very much important, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि like I have defined this subtest, and I am writing 1,000 lines of code in that macro. This will not going to work actually, right?
Yeah, correct.
Mm, mm. So it
Fine.
depends upon, so it depends upon use case, like how you, what is your use case, what is the complexity. It depends upon your practice or experience in how many procedures precisely you can accommodate it. Okay, so like that way you can just do it. So that is a good way. By this way you can do it actually, right? So that is the thing. So this is the first step with so I hope assigning macros to buttons, that is also very simple. Let me actually, wait a minute. Let me see if there is a button. Let me check. This one.
Button is for this macro, running the macro button, right?
We can just insert it. Wait a minute. Like that way you can do it, right? Uh, this will also work. Test, you can see that three. Okay. So
Okay.
from insert you can just do it. There is no issue in any like shapes. You can just do it. But there is also one concept wherein user form type of buttons we will be having it actually, right? So by that way you can also do it. But what happens is, suppose if you're creating button here, and so what will be going to happen is, this will create a overhead on your Excel workbook. So it is not recommended. What we usually do is, suppose if anyone asks, give me the macro by this requirement, I will only run the macro, right? So what you can do is, you can just create your macro, and you can just insert any of the shape like that, and just assign the macro to it actually, right? Any macro you can just assign it, and just click on OK, and just place any text. If you want to place any text actually, uh, uh, run macro, like that you can just type it. Okay, by that way you can do it like that way, and just Okay, by that way you can do it. When user will click on that one, this will run.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
That way we can do it actually. Okay. So I think that's all for today, and tomorrow we'll be going to cover these things then. Okay. Any questions, Sachin, on this one?
Not for now. I got many ideas today, so I will work on this and yeah.
Sure,
So
sure. Try to include it because the more
I will
idea that
do
you
some
will
practice today. I will do
implement it.
some practice today and will ask you today tomorrow questions.
No problem. Even if you are doing on your project work, and then you can also practice these things actually.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Uh, Mm-hmm. Okay then. Okay, Sachin. Thank you.